Hey everyone, and welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, a very warm welcome to you. My name is Lethu and thank you so much for tuning in. So if you're into personal growth and self-help content, you are at the right place because that's what we're all about here. So do press that red subscribe button down below to join the family, and let's get into today's video. So today we're talking all about how to set boundaries and stop people pleasing, and I feel like I'll be speaking to myself as well throughout this video because I think we've all been at that point in our lives where we felt like we had to say yes to everyone and everything to feel loved and accepted by others, but in reality it doesn't really lead to anything good. In fact, it just leads to toxic situations and a buildup of resentment within us because of that inability to set boundaries. So that's why I feel like it's an important video to be speaking about, to be sharing with you guys. And yeah, do share this video with your friends and family. And now let's get into some of the signs that epitomize a people pleaser, and let me know down below in the comment section which one of these you relate to the most. So the first one is that you struggle to say no. So when your friends are making plans to go out, you say yes even if you don't feel like it. When people are asking for help, you say yes even if it's inconvenient to you. You're always willing to compromise your own happiness for others. Number two, you don't express your opposing opinions or views to others because you feel like if you don't agree with others, if you aren't on the same page with others, it's going to cause a lot of conflict, which is something that you don't want to do. Number three, you go to great lengths to avoid conflict. So you're willing to say or do anything, just about anything, just to avoid that conflict. You avoid conflict at all costs. Number four, you act like the people around you. So you are someone who just does anything and everything that the people around you are doing, even if it goes against your core values and even if it goes against your own beliefs, because you just want to feel comfortable in that environment and you don't want to cause conflict, like I said. Number five, you need external validation to feel good about yourself. So you require compliments. You need to be showered with compliments in order to feel good about yourself or about your work. And if you don't get that external validation, it diminishes your self-worth. So basically your self-worth is dependent on how others perceive you. Number six, you feel responsible for how other people feel. So you feel like it's your responsibility to keep all the people around you happy, and you feel guilty whenever someone isn't happy. You feel guilty when people are angry at you, even if you haven't done anything wrong. Number seven, you're always overwhelmed by the number of things you have to get done. And that's because you always bite off more than you can chew. You're always saying yes to everyone, taking on more than you can handle because you want to please everyone around you. Number eight, you're always apologizing. So you're always blaming yourself for everything. Number nine, you don't admit when your feelings are hurt. So you allow people to walk all over you and you pretend to be fine just to maintain that peace. So those are the 9 signs that epitomize a people pleaser. Let me know in the comment section below which one you identify with the most and which one you're going to be working on from now onwards. So a boundary is a line that we draw which lets people know how we want to be treated. It tells them what's important to us, what's not important to us, and what we will and will not tolerate. So basically, it's a way for you to protect your emotional and mental well-being, and it's a way for you to allow yourself to do more of the things that you want to do in life, to do things that will serve you, to live a life that's more pleasing to you, because you don't want to be in a situation whereby you find someone else at the driver's seat of your life while you're at the back seat just watching. You want to take charge and you want to take control of your life, and you do that by setting boundaries. I do have to emphasize though that boundaries aren't for other people, they are for you. So what I mean is that we can't rely on other people to ensure that our boundaries are enforced and that they are respected. It has to be something that's within your control, and you have to take the necessary actions to ensure that your boundaries are respected. So for example, if you have a partner who always will start screaming and shouting during an argument, your boundary could be, as soon as you raise your voice at me, I will walk away from that conversation. I will no longer engage in that conversation. That's how you take your power back, and that's how you keep your peace. And if you have friends who always get really drunk when you guys go out, your boundary could be, as soon as you guys have 3 or more drinks, that'll be my cue to leave. So what I'm saying here is that you can't expect them to quit drinking, but instead you can take your power back by removing yourself from that situation or that environment, and that's how you keep your peace. Get to know yourself. So it's going to be really difficult for you to set boundaries or to even know whether you need any boundaries in place if you don't know yourself, if you don't know where you're headed in life, and if you don't know how you want to be treated. So it all starts with knowing yourself, knowing your values, your beliefs, and your goals in life. And once you get to know yourself, it becomes easier to identify the things, the people, and the experiences that just aren't aligned with the person that you're trying to become, that won't serve you in any way and won't lead you any closer to the life that you're trying to live. So once you're clear on those things, your gut will immediately tell you when something is just off and when something is wrong. So you'll feel it in your gut when you don't belong in a certain crowd. You'll feel it in your gut when you don't belong in a certain environment. That's what comes out of getting to know yourself, and so you'll be able to set those boundaries. So yeah, just follow your intuition and ask yourself as often as possible if a certain situation or if certain people are leading you any closer to the life that you're trying to live, to your ideal life. And if you feel like you don't know where you're headed in life, you don't know what your values are or what your beliefs are, I'm definitely sure that you do know where you don't want to be in the next 10-20 years from now. So you would have to work backwards. Ask yourself, where would I hate to be in the next 5-10 years from now? And start implementing boundaries that will help you avoid being in that position or being that kind of person in the next 5-10 years from now. Validate yourself. So if you noticed earlier on in the video, with all the people-pleasing signs that I mentioned, it all boils down to wanting to be loved and wanting to be accepted by others. And so for some people pleasers, it can stem from self-worth and self-esteem issues. Some people pleasers struggle with loving themselves and accepting themselves for who they are, and so they feel the need to overcompensate in order to receive that external validation. So they'll say yes to things that don't serve them in order to get that validation from other people in order to feel good about themselves. So it's important to start validating yourself. Start telling yourself the things that you want to hear from other people so that you don't need it or require it from other people. So take the time to really prioritize your mental health and well-being, to work on your self-confidence, to work on your self-worth, knowing your worth, because that is so important. When you don't know your worth, you're going to tolerate anything and everything, and you're going to allow people to walk all over you, and you won't be able to stand up for yourself. You won't even be able to set those boundaries. So in order to be able to set those boundaries and to enforce them in your life, you need to have that self-worth and you need to know what you're worth. So if it means saying positive affirmations every single day, do that. Do whatever it takes. Do whatever you need to do in order to work on yourself so that you regain that confidence and you're able to stand up for yourself. Communicate. So it's important to communicate what you will and will not tolerate from others. You need to express that. You need to let people know of those things. You need to vocalize where your boundaries lie, because we can't expect people to respect our boundaries if they aren't aware that there are boundaries in place and where those boundaries are. So you need to tell people those things, and you don't have to be aggressive about setting boundaries or putting boundaries in place. Setting boundaries can absolutely be done in a firm but polite manner, and you'll be surprised at how understanding people are. People may be willing to respect your boundaries. They may be willing to make certain compromises, and if you're willing, then that's great. If you aren't, you need to express that as well. Don't just compromise on things that you don't want to be compromising on. And if you're still struggling with saying no, if you're still struggling with setting boundaries, you can always buy yourself some time. So what I mean is that you can always tell someone, can you give me some time to think about it and I'll get back to you. And you can go back home, rehearse your lines, and come back and break it down to them. Just do whatever you have to do in order to set those boundaries. It's going to take some time, it's going to feel uncomfortable at first, but over time with practice it's going to get easier. So if it means rehearsing your lines at home and coming back, just do it. Evaluate your surroundings. Start saying no to things that no longer serve you. Start saying no to things that no longer contribute to your happiness, your peace, your growth, and your goals. Start saying no to all of these things that just aren't aligned with the person that you're trying to become and aren't aligned with the life that you're trying to live. So for example, when we're growing up, our parents or our families impose a lot of their ways of doing things and their beliefs onto us. And so we believe that that's how life should be done and there's no other way of going about it. But as we grow older, we develop our own identity, we develop our own set of beliefs, our values, and we take a liking to certain things which may be different to what we grew up with. And so it's important to unlearn certain things so that you can actually grow and become the person that you want to become, so that you allow yourself to reach those goals. Because if you're quiet about it, you're never going to reach your goals, and you're always going to be living life the way that other people expect you to. So it's going to hinder you from becoming the person that you want to become. So it's important to be really honest and authentic about who you are, even if it makes people feel uncomfortable. In fact, I feel like the more you make people feel uncomfortable about being authentically yourself, the better, because you're going to repel a lot of these people that no longer serve you, a lot of those people that aren't contributing in any way to your happiness and your goals. The more authentic you are, the more you'll start attracting people who actually share the same values and beliefs as you do. And so these people will contribute to your growth and to your happiness and to your goals. And start listening to your emotions. So take note of how you feel when you say yes to certain things and to certain people. So does it make you feel excited, or does it make you feel drained? Take note of those things, because that's where you'll need to set boundaries in place. You'll also have people who will try to continue taking advantage of you, people who will want to manipulate you, who won't listen to you and won't respect your boundaries. And so it's important to take note of those relationships where people make you feel bad for saying no. So you will hear a lot of dismissive language, like you're being too sensitive, you're making a big deal out of nothing, I thought we were friends, that kind of language. You need to take note of that kind of language so that you are able to work through it whenever it's used against you, whenever you're being manipulated with that kind of language. And I have a worksheet for you guys. This worksheet just has some really introspective questions that I created to help you work through this. So if you're someone who feels like you struggle with people pleasing and you really want to work on it, then do download the free worksheet down below. It's for you guys. I created it because I want my content to be a bit more interactive, because oftentimes we listen to things, we get inspired, and then we go home and we forget all about it. So we don't take action. And I want you to make positive changes in your life. So this is my way of making it a bit more interactive, so that when you hear something and you're really inspired to make that positive change, you actually have the necessary resources to do that. So I hope that this worksheet is going to be helpful. And if you do decide to download the worksheet, please let me know. Come back to the comment section, let me know how you found the worksheet. Was it useful in any way, so that I know if I should continue creating these worksheets or not. Stop making excuses. So stop apologizing and stop making excuses for having a life and for living your life the way that you want to. Stop making excuses to get yourself out of things that you don't want to be doing in the first place. And just remember that it's none of your business what people think of your boundaries, and it's not your responsibility to find a solution for people who can't respect your boundaries. That's just not on you. And yeah, just remember to be firm and polite, and that being polite and being kind doesn't mean agreeing to everything that is asked of you. And that brings me to the end of today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed it and that you found it helpful. Remember that I have the worksheet in the description box below, so do download it if you're interested. It is a fillable PDF, so you can fill it out on your computer, or you can just have it printed out. It's up to you. Please do come back to the comment section and let me know how you found the worksheet and whether or not I should continue creating these worksheets for you guys. And if you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up, share it, and subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. And remember to never give up on the life you know you deserve, and I'll see you in my next one. Bye.